right, we are hot and live. I think we are ready. Oh, things are exploding. Things are exploding. We can't fade in yet.
We can't yet. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Fire.
We made it.
Yeah, we're here. Hello, chat.
What up,
Hello,
guys?
everybody. Welcome back to TechnoPoverty.
Whew. I'm Jacob.
I'm Henry. As you can see, we've been messing with the inner space drive and modifying our space. Ever since we started Shin Megami Tuesdays with our new little friend Lux, we've had some distortions, and we don't want the bigwigs taking notice, so we had to move around. We had to make things take a different form. But hopefully with this new format, we'll be able to get some new friends in, get things in the mix. We got the Shin Megami Tuesdays coming back tomorrow. Remember, Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Lux and I are running through Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. But let's get back to Umurangi Generation. Let's keep talking about Camus and Burroughs. Let's keep looking at Naked Lunch and Camus the Rebel. We've been really falling in love with this photography game where you're just kids in... It's not necessarily the post-apocalypse, it's some sort of future dystopic world. There's some sort of kaiju fight going on, some sort of war.
Yeah, that
we're just documenting it. Yeah, Jacob, how do you feel? How do you feel about Umurangi Generation?
Dude, I'm loving it. Like, the giant creature, I'm still trying to figure out. Because, like, I think the train level and then just, like, the nothingness creature really got to me. It's very, Cloverfield?
Yeah, we did a level where it was like a nighttime kaiju invasion. You couldn't see the kaiju, just like light sources, just parts of it. And then we did a train level where we were exiting the city, and it seemed as if
we're in America, or at least there's America train.
We were on the train was very America labeled. I don't know what we've noticed since then, but here we go. Let's get back to the game. We're gonna pull it up.
God, sorry, I've got all of the screens now.
Yeah.
Finally, now we're cooking.
We got the screens, we got the lights, we have the game. Let's fire this up. Let's see if everything's working as advertised. Oh, I don't need that. Microsoft. Okay, cool.
There we go. Beautiful.
I've really been enjoying the inventory with like the different things we've been unlocking.
Oh yeah, we were fucking around a little bit with the
I'm actually gonna turn the volume up a bit.
Was it the
chat? Let me know if we make the game too loud. Oh, I haven't really messed with the autofocus much yet.
Right, like I had done it. I think it's really meant for people's faces, because I was just kind of like using it on environments, and it was just like grabbing to something. You know what? Gotta let a couple of our friends.
Did we not get everything on Kurangahake?
Nice.
I thought we got everything on this level.
Ooh, what do we miss?
I don't know. It was the other thing was like crossed out though.
All right.
Interesting and weird.
I'm gonna keep my phone on as well because I gotta help out the girlfriend once she gets here with more things.
Yeah, I guess we did everything here.
Right?
Oh yeah. Alrighty then. Well then. I believe.
Chat, happy Memorial Day, whatever that means to you.
Alright, what kind of American style fast food?
Man,
No.
I'm not gonna lie, I like the setup with this big TV.
Yeah, me too. So we want to like zoom in. Postcard shot. Okay.
Nice.
All of my friends are right here if I do this, right? Yeah. Group shot. 5 seagulls. Well, we know how the double jump works now. Remember having trouble with that last time?
Oh yeah, it's like rapid succession, right?
Yeah, quick tap for a high jump.
It was funny too because like every once in a while I thought it was just like an environmental thing, like, oh yeah, of course you need to jump higher over here so they have it. I was like, oh no, that makes sense. That they wouldn't. What's that fucker?
It's that Konami noise. And it's just part of the on-flashing red light. I have to be close to it, is the thing. I hope this is close enough. Where's would be a total waste of time. Let's see. No, not close enough. Dang. Okay. Let's get back down below. Oh yeah, I need to get the 2 and the 3 on a wide angle. Two coffee and a downlight, 5 American flags. It sources 2 and 3 and 20 sticky notes and that fisheye. I think there's plenty of sticky notes over here.
Oh yeah, there was the coffee machine. The coffee's with the American flag.
I'm looking for sticky notes is the thing. Right?
Oh yeah, that was like
20
the
sticky
fisheye
notes.
lens all the way in the back. Yeah, from that end. Love this song every time it comes on.
We'll just get all the sticky notes. No. I'm getting mad money off of that. I think I'm using the wrong lens. 5 American flags on maybe.
Oh man.
What am I doing? Trying to get American flags. I'm doing it wrong. All right. Looking at the symbols wrong is what I'm doing. Not thinking clearly.
Super brand. Barney.
Yes, Barnabas is in the new spot with us.
Barnabas. Come here, sweet. Come here. Come here. Oh, the puppy returns.
Look at her.
Oh, triumphant return of the pup. The triumphant return of the pupper. Yeah. Yeah, little dog. Man.
I'm in a tunnel. Yes. Five American flags.
Chilling right here with me and Henry.
On a telephoto. 3 sauce, 1 cereal on a fisheye, 20 sticky notes on a fisheye.
Why do you tangle all of the cords, Brian? What? You can't go into this packet.
Five American flags on a telephoto. Let's do
Get in your nest. Can't be behind Henry. Sorry, Barney is making herself very cozy right now
Yeah.
with a quilt.
Give her a moment. Give her some
Our
patience.
set dressing is now Barney's bed.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Dang it.
You little rat dog.
How did I get so many American flags? No.
I don't know what this dog is doing.
Checking D. Hamels Mammal, what are you eating today? You usually got something you're cooking up.
Yeah, some good snacks. Just lay down. Stop doing things. There you go.
Oh.
Excuse me.
Just fall out of the cam. Just fall out of the train. Just fall out of the train. All right.
Yeah, it'll do that sometimes.
I forgive the game for it. It's too likable not to. Like that. What is that? Jacob, I don't remember how to do the 5 American flags. Oh, okay.
Just like that.
Just like that. All right, let's get these film casters. There's one on the table.
There.
One
There's one on the window. There's one at the front. First tables. There's one on your right. On top of the thing? Yeah.
Some in the kitchen, I remember that. There's at least 2 in here, right? 3, 4. And
That was on the table somewhere, right? Yeah, between them.
Yeah, all film found. That's everything. And we are great photographers.
Professional
Wow.
photographers every time. Just like real life.
Got this set up like super fast, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to give Henry props. He got this all set up and ready to go as I was still getting things taken care of, finishing up at the old place. Great. Bloom?
We got the Bloom.
Ooh.
And the Comma ultra wide. Okay.
Oh, 180 field of view. Oh, that's cool.
Here, you play the next level blind. That's what we've been doing.
Damn.
So we're at the Metro. You think you got what it takes at the Metro?
Yeah, right. Let's see what stuff we got. We got a boombox and spray can, a kiwi, glasses and trilby, frames and a bench. Word squid.
So we read a bit of Naked Lunch last time we played this game. The part where the man trains his asshole to talk. First is a stand-up bit, but then it just starts doing it on its own. Very funny that it starts as a joke. It always starts as a joke, but as Burroughs is describing this man who taught his asshole how to talk, he talks about it being like a cancer. It's the sex that slides between the sensors. It's the totalizing, invading force of a consumer ideology. You know, Naked Lunch. Everybody's consuming everybody. Like a person as an object of pleasure, which you extract everything you can from and then dispose of. Use and abuse. There's a lot of that stuff going on in that book, and I bring it up because Naked Lunch is seen as like a foundational piece of postmodern literature. And when you hear the word postmodern, there is a sort of knee-jerk reaction you will see online to the term that associates it with just a general nihilism or a back half of the 20th century atheism, a faithlessness, or in short, reactionaries will blame a lot of their problems on this vague concept of cultural Marxism or postmodernism, as if these are external invading ideas that are trying to supplant Western culture or destroy the United States, yada yada. The thing is, both Marx and the postmodern movement, those are organic growths of Western civilization and European thought and culture and all that good stuff. Like, if you look at the canon of philosophical works and just like great literary thought, you know, there's a clear continuity from the 1800s into the 1900s with, you know, the Romantics and the Modernists and the Postmodernists. The post-structuralist, but these are all descriptive terms for emergent and organic movements and ideas. They're not constructed artificial things meant to like invade the West. I bring this up because Naked Lunch is for how horrific it is angry about things. It is Burroughs laying bare some of the nastiest shit he thinks he is witness to in working in the Tangiers international zone in Morocco. In the part I read, he brings up Burroughs, like the narcotics bureau, or we can talk about like the FBI in this sense, or the CIA, intelligence agencies. The opposite of communes. They find reasons to justify their existence. They don't exist because they're needed. It's the reverse of, you know, people working in a commune or a syndicalist type way. This is something that Camus talks about in The Rebel when he looks towards trade unions and such as the way forward, because Camus was also very concerned with the cancer that Burroughs is talking about in Naked Lunch when he's talking about Burroughs justifying their own existence through any means necessary. This is where we start getting, you know, the criminalization of people for just existing or practicing their culture because we need bodies to put in prisons, because the prison exists and the prison needs prisoners, so we better invent some crimes so that we can fill up the prisons. That's sort of what Burroughs is angry at, and that's what Camus is talking about with The Rebel. When you know, at some point you rebel and you create an alternative structured society, and then that society has a continuity of governance and care, and depending on the material conditions, it has to evolve and adapt and change and grow and integrate new law. But you have to be vigilant about at what point are you just making new laws because you have this pre-existing structure that just needs laws to govern. Like, Jacob, I've been seeing a lot on the internet about the left needing a Joe Rogan, and I think that totally gets
I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Right, it's getting at what we're talking, like, it's when you look at Joe Rogan and you think Joe Rogan's the dude who's the flowing forth all this GOP money and like electing these people or saying who should be in office, when it's sort of the reverse. He's just a guy letting people come to him and talk to him, and more often than not, it's the reactionaries or the right-wingers who will be on his show and tilt the balance of his audience, because Joe Rogan just wants dudes to walk into his cave and to explain to him their magic idea. Anybody who walks up to Joe Rogan can tell Joe Rogan anything, and Joe Rogan will believe it.
Yeah, he never pushes back on anybody. I don't know, man. Like,
This isn't to defend what he's doing as like, oh, you shouldn't diss him at all. Like, he has had some genuinely concerning people on the show, but if you're not meeting him or meeting those ideas on the field and actually combating them, and instead saying we'll make our own field with our own ideas and we'll put it behind a paywall, and you just have to be cool to be a cool Democrat like us, and we'll give you that. I don't get it. It's the DNC doing what Burroughs and Camus are talking about, where the party exists and the party's just trying to force its way further forward by saying we're still relevant, like we bought all this ad time, we're in the pop culture still, like look, we're still here. They're not delivering any sort of material thing. They're not addressing popular concerns about what needs to be done politically. They're just trying to justify why they're still the other half of the ticket.
Yeah. Because you can't have nobody. The other thing is, like, there was that old meme. Oh, shoot, I gotta jump down really quick. Apologies. Just saw we gotta get some help with our friend.
Okay, cool. I'm going to keep exploring this level as you do that.
Yes. I'll be back in just a moment, people, as soon as I'm done flashing my belly to all of you.
Yeah, chat, let me know how the connection's going. We're at a new place, we're on a new internet, and I saw a minor drop in quality for a second there, although it seems we're back now. Oh, it's actually quite variable. I hope this isn't unwatchable. For any present, let me know what the stream quality is like right now. I'm actually not too happy with what I'm seeing here in OBS. Although Twitch itself is telling me the bitrate is quite happy. It's all green there. Screw to you in, buddy. Oh, Jacob has the flash on, I see. Let's see what this bloom does. Ooh, glow. Contrast. Let's desaturate. Let's max that contrast. Let's add some glow. I don't know if y'all can see it, but Barney's right behind me. All right, we're finishing this level. A kiwi, glasses, and a trilby. All right, we're gonna look for a trilby and some glasses and a kiwi. That postcard shot. The word squid and 2 face masks through a telephoto. I think I saw, oh yeah, there's 2 face masks there. Face mask or telephoto. The word squid. Oh, look at those folks over there. Find that squid, we're gonna find that kiwi. Bola. Oh, what is this UN checkpoint doing to us? A succulent seafood show. Oh, you know what? Is there squid? Does that count? Snap it, Tabby Soft. Pride Revival 2026, hell yeah. I guess it's 2025 here.
Nice. Oh. The crispy squid. Okay, kiwi, glasses, and a trilby. Oh, I co-signed this in 200%.
Makes some dank beats too. And I wish to shut up. Do not sing. This is Tariq time. I wish to shut up.
So yeah. We're back. Audio's back. Minor trip. All good. We're looking for a kiwi and a trilby. Is kiwi some sort of slang I don't understand? We will find out.
Are we being racist?
I thought that dude was just doing pull-ups. So there's a trilby.
Tariq, in the house once more. I bet you are digging this. I sure am. Bitch tape.
Oh, there's a kiwi. Okay, cool.
Hey, nice.
So if I do this. Oh, glasses and a trilby. I just have to get. Jacob has returned.
The prodigal son.
Bitch tape.
I love Hamill's memo celebratory highlighted message.
Oh, hell yeah. Glasses and a trilby. Okay. Oh, that's super easy. It's right there.
A trilby?
Yeah. All right, so we got those objectives, but now we gotta do the bonus stuff. Recreate the postcard.
Sometimes. It is hard to be a dolphin, especially one with an Australian accent.
There are 10
No
film
one likes
canisters here.
Australians'
Whoa.
accents. People are very racist. Bitch tape.
All right, let's scan for them. Have any of you seen a film canister? Have any of you seen a film canister? Okay, so here's the exit when we're ready. Wait, how high up does this go?
Wow. It was such a lovely experience. Now it's back to Adolf, not Hitler.
So here's 3 of my friends right here. Where's the penguin? Who am I, Batman?
You know it.
Alright, I got those 3 boys, but I don't know where the penguin is. Up top somewhere?
Top of those stairs?
That did it.
Oh, nice.
Okay, yeah, we just need the 10 film canisters then. You found 5 of them?
Yeah.
Do you remember where they were?
I do. It's like mostly in these areas. Over by the military guys on the left, on that table was one of them. You can't go that way, unfortunately. And there's one on top of these stairs where I like the first little turnaround. There was some up here.
Let's crunch it to that side. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one right here.
Oh, yeah, I must have missed that one. There were like 3 up here.
Okay. Anything in the bushes now. You guys collect film? Film canisters?
You know it.
Can't touch the third rail. Oh well.
Okay, so.
Yeah, there's gotta be something around here. Gotta be something around here. Nope, that's trash. Barney's leaving us. I can feel her shifting behind me. She does not like us as photographers.
Yeah. Probably doesn't like the limelight. Love that giant crab down there. American hot dogs.
American hot dogs.
Yeah.
American style, everything. So it looks like we're feeding in. This is when we're getting off the train and the UN's just processing people. I guess we're refugees now.
But isn't that illegal, Henry?
Americans definitely hate refugees, so we gotta be careful if we go to America for sure.
Yeah. Barnabas, you are fine.
Does she need to go? Oh, does she just want pets?
Yeah.
I was like, does she need to go outside?
She's seeing.
Does she need food?
She's seeing our friend just off camera. She just wants attention. When we don't give her attention as we play a game, she gets upset.
Yeah, we abuse her so bad.
Yeah.
She's so in love.
That poor little baby.
More back here. I'm so plumb just... There are like 10 in this level. That's amazing to me.
Yeah, right?
That's a lot.
What about that back wall to your left? Or other way? Yeah, that one. Those guys. Is there any down there? That little go.
Down there, I just came from there.
But like the far wall, I mean. Behind those guys, need that crispy something. Those boards. That was just trash on the ground. Oh, Gordy Poppins.
What up, Gordy?
What's going on? And New Space is great. Still being put together, but...
Cozy and cool.
Actually, tweak the camera just a little bit. Looking at it.
As you can see, we got a new lighting setup, new camera setup. We're gonna be experimenting. Let us know what you think. How's it look, Gordy? I know you're working on your VTuber stuff. I know you're asking about Blender on the Discord. I didn't really get a chance to dig into messages today, though.
Yeah, we'll double check. I have a friend who does Blender that I work with. We can ask some questions.
It's in these trash cans. It's in these trash cans.
Nothing. Sounds of trains.
But the institution thing I was talking about. So I was talking to Gordy earlier about the piece of Naked Lunch we were reading where Burroughs describes the cancer taking over and just kicking the individual out of the body, and how Burroughs are cancers at a structural level, at a state level, where, you know, they'll look for means to justify their existence. Prisons are a good example of this. We have a huge private prison industry, and it exists to basically say, look, we need to make money. The way we make money is by having prisoners. Therefore, we should criminalize more types of behavior. That's sort of the loose incentive structure we look at when we're looking at that. That's kind of the bluntest example I'm bringing up, just so that you can kind of, oh, there we go.
Nice.
But I'm bringing that up because we can apply that to a lot of things, I think, in American culture, or just the general zombie nature of corporatism or corporate capitalism with brands and IPs, where it just starts insisting things get made so that we can keep the licenses. Those Spider-Man movies, the ones that aren't MCU movies, like Venom or Morbius, or did the Kraven the Hunter movie come out? That come and went, huh? I didn't see it. I think I saw some people see the Kraven trailer and go like, what is this? Because they didn't realize it's like a Spider-Man Rogues Gallery villain getting his own independent movie.
Yeah.
But we see stuff like this all the time. Burroughs is talking about a man who taught his asshole to talk, and then because his asshole's talking, it starts looking for more and more reasons to keep talking until it just takes him over. And in the same way, like
justifying itself.
Yeah, live-action Disney remakes. How many times are we going to keep falling for those? Lilo and Stitch apparently made all the money.
All of it.
I get that people need to take their kids to things, but wow. Are there no other things? I mean, I guess it's also like it's a safe product. It's a name recognition. A lot of parents now probably grew up with Lilo and Stitch. Yeah, Craven dealing with his silly gay dad and gay brother. I'll have to watch that because I am intrigued by those. I had an interesting read on Morbius. I never saw Morbius, but as an exemplar of this exact phenomenon I'm talking about, just the vampire capitalism or the zombie capitalism, like Morbius was just absolutely vampiric. They re-released it in theaters because of meme hype, and it made no money. Like, it was doing nobody any favors existing, and they threw it back in theaters on a lark. Just some ironic... An ironic shitpost of a theater distribution technique. Just wow, what are we doing here? This is how we end up with, how many Hellboy movies do we have that we don't even know about because they've just been wanting to keep churning that license?
That's how we need even more. God. And the actor playing Craven, isn't it that one actor who's like married to a much older director?
I don't know. I think it's Aaron Taylor Johnson, Kick-Ass,
Yes.
I think.
Yep, that's him.
Good.
He was
for
like
him.
20 something with like a 50 something year. It was a little questionable, but
He found a sugar mama.
he did.
I hope that is a consensual and ever-loving relationship, and that they're both getting whatever they need out of that.
Yeah, that's all we can hope for.
Yeah.
Craven was also in Cats, Expanded Universe, positively.
The cat, I can see that.
Was he in like the butthole edit of Cats?
Craven's a very flamboyant character. I actually really like him as a Spider-Man rogue.
Dang.
He's thought of as like a joke character, but Craven's Last Hunt is a really good arc. And I bring up the joke character thing because it's usually in the context of people saying, oh, Craven's Last Hunt's really good, and it makes use of a character who's otherwise a joke. Like, no, Craven's an interesting foil to Spidey because he's kind of like what Peter Parker would be if Peter Parker didn't encounter tragedy. When Spider-Man first gets bitten by that spider, the first thing he does is he tries to make money off of it. Like, he wants to go wrestling, he wants to go on TV, he wants to be a celebrity and use his powers to do the cool guy stuff. That's what Craven is. He's the hunter. He's the celebrity that like always cashed in on that. Like, none of the responsibility but plenty of power.
Everyone should know him and love him.
Yeah, and so like Spider-Man stories actually made great use of that with Craven whenever he's antagonizing Spidey, because there's the hunter and the spider. And you know, particularly in Craven's Last Hunt, Spider-Man overcomes and recognizes he's not the spider, he's Peter Parker. Like, the spider's an image, the spider's a creation, that's alter ego, that's not real. Whereas Craven's unable to separate himself from being the hunter, and because he's not the best hunter, because Spider-Man's out there making him look a fool, it drives him insane.
Man, Gordy Puppins, your Cat's apologist to the max, is an interesting place to hold.
Cat's apologism?
Yeah, the 2019 one. Which I admittedly never saw because I feel no need to see it. But,
yeah.
I think I got it.
I kind of want to see, like, I think there was a work print cut. Oh, I just fell through the floor.
I would also be much more interested in, like, the pre-stuff.
The magic.
The magic. Watching Cats 2019. We're gonna re-edit in the buttholes into the cut. And we're gonna give the people what they want.
Can I get on top of the trains? Is that safe? That is safe.
Hey, nice.
Is there any film hidden this way?
Swear to God.
I'm a platforming madman. corners.
Oh, there it is, right there.
Oh shit. Oh hey, what is all this?
Oh, got you.
Yeah,
It was
we
like the
found
boardwalk shit.
Yeah. Okay, cool. There's this whole scaffolding area.
Yeah, we haven't even touched that other part.
So you're supposed to jump on top. Okay.
It is hard to be a dog.
Okay.
Oh, if you go down here. Oh no.
They shoot
Interesting.
you with their guns.
Yeah.
People are very racist. Bitch
They condemn you for your actions.
People are very racist. What is going on with its audio sample? I feel like it's doing some world building.
Oh, that's right, I forgot. I always come back and forget to put my headphones on. I go so caught up in it.
So I can't go over there, but I can explore up here. Whoa. Okay, so I can climb this way. A succulent meal.
Oh, what were some of those crates to your left? Those bad boys? You notice that area?
Oh, how do I get down there? Yeah. Okay.
No.
Wow. It was such a lovely experience.
Okay.
Now it's back to Adolf. Not Hitler, but Nomura. A very unfortunate name indeed.
Hi, dude. What are you doing here?
Gotcha.
I don't see any film casters here. Do you?
No. Looks like Twitch is getting a bad stream. Generating potential frame droppy than usual.
More frame droppy than usual? Yeah, we're at like a 0 kbps. Then we're back up to 65. Yeah, what's going on with that? Why? Okay.
Back up again.
Back to green.
Yeah, sorry about that. Thanks for letting us know.
Thanks for letting us know. This is our first night here.
And also, Lman X. I said hello, but I said it a little quiet earlier. But thanks for joining the stream. Good to see you.
Oh man. I do like that there's this whole side of the level we just weren't aware of. Ah!
Jesus, that scream.
I live, I die, I live again.
No, it's good to see you too, Lman.
Yeah, I'm over here.
Hope you guys are having a good, chill Monday.
Looking over here.
There has to be something over there. There's gotta be a phone canister.
Yeah, there's gotta be a reason they put us all the way over here. Oh. Okay, so there's one all the way over here. Is that the only one? Anything over here? Oh.
Oh no.
Okay.
Hey.
Anything?
Somewhere, right?
There's gotta be something.
There's gotta be.
I'm not seeing anything.
Indiscriminate SWAT officer.
Okay.
Something behind?
Over here. This is like a cool little
Like secretive.
secret. But where's the film? There is one film canister left, Jacob.
Somewhere in this whole wide world.
I keep thinking it's this thing.
I know,
No,
same every
it's
time. I'm
not.
like,
It's
"Oh."
not. Is it just? Is it right here? Yeah.
It is right
Okay.
there. All right.
Okay. We can get this. We can do this. Looking back at that, yeah, okay, the rate's back up. Luckily, we record locally and re-upload to YouTube. Spread the word, check us out on YouTube. Sometimes I put snippets there that you don't see on Twitch. I am trying to grease those YouTube numbers a little. We're also considering maybe doing some test stream stuff on YouTube as opposed to Twitch. Let us know your thoughts on that in the comments.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, I feel like because of previous work with Wisecrack and such, I'm a bit more aware of like the YouTube monitoring stuff. I like what Twitch does, but I'm just familiar with the YouTube style.
Yeah. That's right, Gordy Poppins. We will enter the Discord general one hangout if we dare.
Congratulations.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's retry this delivery and let's speed run it. So you see, now that we've done the objectives, instead of taking in the world and enjoying the atmospheric storytelling and such, we're going to put the gamification of it all first. Much like a prison doesn't care what a person's doing, they just want to label them a criminal. We're just going to label this game a puzzle to do super fast. We're not going to take in the story. We're going to be cancerous about it. All right, Jacob, we're gonna be cancerous boys, and let's see if we can do this faster. Hue shift, the metro. Okay, I'm going to get the group shot because I know the group shot's like right here. Super easy to get, ultra wide, ultra dirty.
Hell yeah.
Let me just do this. I think the penguin's somewhere down there. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Two face mask and the word squid with a telephoto. Let's go.
Heck yeah. I was like, oh, can you use the super zoom and get the...
I believe there's two face. Oh, there's a Kiwi. I think I have to be closer to that.
Oh man, I miss YouTube Premium. I used to have it. I might go get it again because YouTube is definitely probably my most used streaming service.
Honestly, yeah.
Like, it definitely made it worth it.
Oh yeah, the squids. Okay, here.
I'm trying to make a note and use Black Friday as my day to get subscriptions so I can get everything at a really deep discount, but I just have to like write down a list of all the things I want to get on Black Friday. Get some deals, people.
The crispy squid, glasses and a trilby, two face mask. The two face masks are up here. Hanging out. If I go right. Where are those two face masks? There's one. There's another. Got a film canister off the table. Oh, you know what? There's some face masks right there. Glasses and a trilby, a kiwi, and a spray can. Boombox and a spray can. Two film, found that one. Glasses and a trilby right here. Kiwi, a boombox and a spray can. There's a
can.
Film. You said there are a few up here?
Yeah, right there.
4.
You get the one on the stairs below you?
Yeah.
And then by the cops too, all those.
By the cops.
Yeah, did they have one over by them, I thought?
Oh, I got one off the table by the cops, yeah.
Okay.
So around here. There was one down by these dudes.
What more do you want?
I'm not close enough.
Nice.
There we go. Recreate that postcard, collect film. 5.
Nice. Yeah, Dangory, that makes sense. It's a good deal.
Go over here, get this film.
this photographer that just like jumps 2-story buildings every once
Right.
in a while. Like, and I was just like, yep, just keep doing your thing, guys. Don't even worry about it, Todd.
Oh yeah. There's a canister up here. And there, yep. 7, 3 more. Okay. Cool. Oh, Barney's back, eh?
Oh ho ho. Hello, little rat dog.
More film canisters, more film canisters, more film canisters. We got film canisters over here. Oops.
There's like running along the side of the wall with that.
Yeah. Oh, is there other ones down here? I got the one that was over there. Is there another? I don't know, anything here? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's great. Stop running around in circles. Just chill. Just chill. Try the red dog.
All right, there is one over here. Okay, where are the last two? I don't think there's anything over here as far as this goes. No, that just carried us back up over.
Little rat dog.
How much we gotta make? 150? We're almost there. Nothing here. Where were those last? Where were the other film canisters be? There's 2 more.
Here, I got the ones on these stairs you said?
Yeah, I got the one on the table by them. Oh. One more.
Can I go up these stairs real quick?
Up these ones?
No, the other ones. That guy.
I've got those guys. Is there one on a bench or anything?
What the fuck was that last one?
Chat, do you remember?
What a snow.
We got them all last time. I got the one over here.
Yeah.
The city's always under attack. Yeah, dang, where's that last one? Go check the far end real quick. Out there. What's chat saying?
Corey Buckles. I look forward to some future halcyon day when your country is nice and cool to be proud of, because I would buy so many more stupid sports jerseys if I could ever bring myself to rep an American anything, let alone sports team. I know, I recently got a Boston Red Sox hat from New England, and I don't enjoy any sports really. I'm not a sports guy, but I'll go to any place I can drink beer and yell obscenities. Because I'm American. But other than that, like, not really repping a lot of sports teams.
What am I missing? Dang it, there's one more and I'm just blowing it. I'm just blowing it.
Or feel yourself.
I'll never have daddy's love now.
What will Elon think of us? Oh, there's that
Oh,
penguin.
there's the penguin. I was like, where's the boy? There's the boy. Okay. But where is the last roll of film?
Barney, stop licking your toes.
Jacob, do you remember where the other ones were?
I do not. Like, fuck.
There's the exit right there.
Yeah. Man. Like over by the box, like the workers with the boxes, maybe? There's just like 1, 2. Ah,
Oh.
right there! Nice!
All film found. Where's the
15
exit?
seconds.
Where's the exit?
Over there. Yes!
Yes. We did it.
God's best voice. Jesus loves us again.
Yes. We have been divinely selected to play video games for the people.
That's true. I mean, Gordy Poppins. Ooh. I mean, an appreciation for hockey is great. I will say, of the sports games, hockey is so much fun.
A 10mm macro lens
Ooh.
used by an agent from the Eastern Bloc. Not much range, but is the highest bokeh effect. That is very nice. Bokeh.
I wonder if that means we can read all of the like text that we haven't been able to read before, so we can get way closer.
Curious. Here, Jacob, let's try Meow View.
No.
Meow View? So like Meow Meow the mountain? Oh. Oh, wait, are we back at level 1? We are.
Oh.
Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, look out over the ocean there.
What the fuck? Whoa.
I'm not even looking.
I'm fucking
Oh,
confused.
what? Wait, what? This is some, no, this is those mecha?
Yeah.
Zoom in. Snap some photos of those boys. Yo. Yes. What is that? Colossus on the horizon. You're right, Elman. I saw a post the other day about how crazy it's going to be if there's a nuclear war, because while millions of people would die, there'd still be a section of people who just didn't know what's going on and like continuing on with their 9-to-5s. I do love how much this game is just about dropping you in the environment and seeing what you pick up.
Yeah.
15 candles and 4 boom boxes, 2 skateboards, 2 work lights, 5 blocks, 2 disposable cameras, 4 robots. Are the robots the things in the distance? You got 3 of them. See if you can find a 4th. You know, I bet if you go higher up on the roof, because you're in your little clubhouse, you can probably find some if you scan the horizon. Gordy Elman has the stream sort of stabilized. I'm noticing again I'm noticing drop. You've got some pretty high dropped frames here now that I'm digging into the OBS stats. We'll have to get to the bottom of this mystery. What? Some jitters, yeah. Okay. Oh shit! Shit, dude! Whoa!
Sorry.
Yeah, during the most revelatory level, we're just so jittery. So you can get it with some fire. Look at that Godzilla. Yeah, pancake batter Godzilla is a great way to put it. He's like a melted clay statue, taking lasers. Nice. With its weird dome head and its glowy belly. What a creature.
Kind of looks like it has a dickhead.
I do like the intentional use of just distorted features, distorted faces. I think of when I think of Naked Lunch is indescribable passages of just weird, horrific stuff happening. Like aside from descriptions of like sex crimes and the use of slurs and stuff that I can't say on screen, which makes it unreadable on stream. Just the chaos of some of what Burroughs is throwing at you. It's something I find very interesting. Also, Gene Wolfe does this a lot with Book of the New Sun, where a character is describing something, but the character is just either dumb or, in Burroughs' case, strung out on drugs, unreliable. But like a character could be talking to you and telling you what a computer is, but in the most bizarre out there terms, because they don't know what electricity is. So it's like, oh, it's a magic machine with like a glowy mirror and there's buttons on it and it talks back to you. Yeah, he's probably a very handsome creature. We're just, whoa, Rod.
Yeah.
I'm going to adjust my mic because it keeps hanging on the inside of the shirt, and I'm hoping that's not muffling my lines too bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Now it hangs heavy and true.
Yes. Oh, I see. Whoa. There we go. Film 1 of 6.
Jacob, as you play this level, I think I'm just going to read some Camus for the people, because Camus can be read.
Yeah. I like that. Let's do it.
What is a rebel? A man who says no, but whose refusal does not imply a renunciation. He is also a man who says yes, from the moment he makes his first gesture of rebellion. A slave who has taken orders all his life suddenly decides that he cannot obey some new command. What does he mean by saying no? He means, for example, that this has been going on too long. Up to this point, yes. Beyond it, no. You are going too far. Or, again, there's a limit beyond which you shall not go. In other words, his no affirms the existence of a borderline. The same concept is to be found in the rebel's feeling that the other person is exaggerating, that he is exerting his authority beyond a limit where he begins to infringe on the rights of others. Thus, the movement of rebellion is founded simultaneously on the categorical rejection of an intrusion that is considered intolerable, and on the confused conviction of an absolute right which, in the rebel's mind, is more precisely the impression that he has the right to. Rebellion cannot exist without the feeling that, somewhere and somehow, one is right. It is in this way that the rebel slave says yes and no simultaneously. He affirms that there are limits, and also that he suspects, and wishes to preserve, the existence of certain things on this side of the borderline. He demonstrates, with obstinacy, that there is something in him which is worthwhile, and which must be taken into consideration. In a certain way, he confronts an order of things which oppresses him with the insistence on a kind of right not to be oppressed beyond the limit that he can tolerate. In every act of rebellion, the rebel simultaneously experiences a feeling of revulsion at the infringement of his rights and a complete and spontaneous loyalty to certain aspects of himself. Thus, he implicitly brings into play a standard of values so far from being gratuitous that he is prepared to support it, no matter what the risk. Up to this point, he has at least remained silent, and has abandoned himself to the form of despair in which a condition is accepted even though it is considered unjust. To remain silent is to give the impression that one has no opinions, that one wants nothing, and in certain cases it really amounts to wanting nothing. Despair, like the absurd, has opinions and desires about everything in general and nothing in particular. Silence expresses this attitude very well. But from the moment that the rebel finds his voice, even though he says nothing but no, he begins to desire and to judge. The rebel, in the etymological sense, does a complete turnabout. He acted under the lash of his master's whip. Suddenly, he turns and faces him. He opposes what is preferable to what is not. Not every value entails rebellion, but every act of rebellion tactically invokes rebellion. Or is it really a question of values? Awareness, no matter how confused it may be, develops from every act of rebellion. The sudden, dazzling perception that there is something in a man with which he can identify himself, even if only for a moment. Up to now, this identification was never really experienced. Before he rebelled, the slave accepted all the demands made upon him. Very often he took orders, without reacting against them, which were far more conducive to the insurrection than one at which he balks. He accepted them patiently, though he may have protested inwardly, but in that he remained silent. He was more concerned with his own immediate interests than as yet aware of his own rights. But with loss of patience, with impatience, a reaction begins which can extend to everything that he previously accepted, and which is almost always retroactive. The very moment the slave refuses to obey the humiliating orders of his master, he simultaneously rejects the condition of slavery. The act of rebellion carries him far beyond the point he had reached by simply refusing. He exceeds the bounds that he fixed for his antagonist, and now demands to be treated as an equal. What was at first the man's obstinate resistance now becomes the whole man, who is identified with and summed up in this resistance. The part of himself that he wanted to be respected, he proceeds to place above everything else and proclaims it preferable to everything, even to life itself. It becomes for him the supreme good. Having up to now been willing to compromise, the slave suddenly adopts, because this is how it must be, an attitude of all or nothing. With rebellion, awareness is born. Yes, Gordy, I do suspect the new internet is just shittier than the old internet. The audio video sync has a lag too, you feel? Okay, I'll keep that in mind. But we can see that the knowledge gained is, at the same time, of an all that is still rather obscure and of a nothing that proclaims the possibility of sacrificing the rebel to this all. The rebel himself wants to be all, to identify himself completely with the good of which he has suddenly become aware and by which he wants to be personally recognized and acknowledged, or nothing. In other words, to be completely destroyed by the force that dominates him. As a last resort, he is willing to accept the final defeat, which is death, rather than to be deprived of the personal sacrament that he would call, for example, freedom. Better to die on one's feet than to live on one's knees. Values, according to good authorities, most often represent a transition from facts to rights, from what is desired to what is desirable, usually through the intermediary of what is generally considered desirable. The transition from facts to rights is manifest, as we have seen, in rebellion. So is the transition from this must be to this is how I should like things to be, and even more so perhaps the idea of the sublimation of the individual in a henceforth universal good. The sudden appearance of the concept of all or nothing demonstrates that rebellion, contrary to current opinion, and though it springs from everything that is most strictly individualistic in man, questions the very idea of the individual. If the individual, in fact, accepts death and happens to die as a consequence of his act of rebellion, he demonstrates that by doing so that he is willing to sacrifice himself for the sake of a common good, which he considers more important than his own destiny. If he prefers the risk of death to the negation of the rights that he defends, it is because he considers these rights more important than himself. Therefore, He is acting in the name of certain values which are still indeterminate, but which he feels are common to himself and to all men. We see that the affirmation implicit in every act of rebellion is extended to something that transcends the individual insofar as it withdraws from him his supposed solitude and provides him with reason to act. But it is already worth noting that this concept of values as pre-existent to any kind of action contradicts the purely historical philosophies, in which the values are acquired, if they are ever acquired, after the action has been completed. Analysis of rebellion leads at least to the suspicion that, contrary to the postulates of contemporary thought, a human nature does exist, as the Greeks believed. Why rebel if there is nothing permanent in oneself worth preserving? It is for the sake of everyone in the world that the slave asserts himself when he comes to the conclusion that a command has infringed on something in him which does not belong to him alone, but which is common ground where all men, even the man who insults and oppresses him, have a natural community. Two observations will support this argument. First, we can see that an act of rebellion is not, essentially, an egoistic act. Of course, it can have egoistic motives, but one can rebel equally well against lies as against oppression. Moreover, the rebel, once he's accepted the motives and at the moment of his greatest impetus preserves nothing in him that risks everything, he demands respect for himself, of course, but only insofar as he identifies himself with a natural community. Then we note that rebellion does not arise only and necessarily among the oppressed, but that it can also be caused by a mere spectacle of oppression of which someone else is the victim. In such cases, there is a feeling of identification with another individual, and it must be pointed out that this is not a question of psychological identification, a mere subterfuge by which the individual imagines that it is he himself who has been offended. On the contrary, it can often happen that we cannot bear to see the offenses done to others which we ourselves have accepted without rebelling. The suicides of the Russian terrorists in Siberia as a protest against their comrades being whipped is a case in point. Nor is it a question of the feeling of a community of interests. Injustices done to men whom we consider enemies can, actually, be profoundly repugnant to us. There is only identification of one's destiny with that of others in the choice of sides. Therefore, the individual is not, in himself alone, the embodiment of the values he wishes to defend. It needs all humanity, at least, to comprise them. When he rebels, a man identifies himself with other men, and so surpasses himself, and from this point of view, human solidarity is metaphysical. But for the moment, we are only talking of the kind of solidarity that is born in chains. It would be possible for us to define the positive aspect of the values implicit in every act of rebellion by comparing them with a completely negative concept, like that of resentment, as defended by Scheller. Rebellion is, in fact, much more than pursuit of a claim in the strongest sense of the word. Resentment is very well defended by keep tripping up on those words.
That's fair.
Yeah, give me liberty or give me death. Oh, hold on, L-Man, it gets better.
Live free or die, New Hampshire.
Resentment is very well defined by Scheller as an auto-intoxication, the evil secretion in a sealed vessel of prolonged impotence. Rebellion, on the contrary, breaks the seal and allows the whole being to come into play. It liberates stagnant waters and turns them into a raging torrent. Scheller himself emphasizes the passive aspect of resentment and remarks on the prominent place it occupies in the psychology of women who are dedicated to the desire and possession. The fountainhead of rebellion, on the contrary, is the principle of superabundant activity and energy. Scheller is also right in saying that resentment is always highly colored by envy. But one envies what one does not have, while the rebel's aim is to defend what he is. He does not merely claim some good that he does not possess or of which he is deprived. His aim is to claim recognition for something which he has and which has already been recognized by him. In almost every case, is more impotent than anything which he could be envious. Rebellion is not realistic. According to Scheller, resentment always turns into either unscrupulous ambition or bitterness, depending on whether it is implanted in a strong person or a weak one. But in both cases, it is a question of wanting to be something other than what one is. Resentment is always resentment against oneself. The rebel, on the contrary, from his very first step, refuses to allow anyone to touch what he is. He is fighting for the integrity of one part of his being. He does not try primarily to conquer, but simply to impose. I think that's a very important aspect to look into, is the resentment thing. Consider if you're being resentful or rebellious when you feel about, you're being transgressive or angry or mad with the system. How are you directing your energies? Are you driving yourself towards self-hate or self-affirmation? Finally, it would seem that resentment takes delight in advance in the pain that it would like the object of its envy to feel. Nietzsche and Schiller are right in seeing an excellent example of this in the passage where Tertullian informs his readers that one of the greatest sources of happiness among the blessed will be the spectacle of the Roman emperors consumed in the fires of hell. This kind of happiness is also experienced by the decent people who go to watch executions. The rebel, on the contrary, limits himself, as a matter of principle, to refusing to be humiliated without asking what others should be, asking that others should be. He will even accept pain provided his integrity is respected. I will go to bat and take pain for those who recognize that like Kamala Harris wasn't going to do anything about Israel. This resentment thing's just making me think in the post-election wake how there are certain groups of people that are gleefully cheering for Trump to do bad things to Gaza because certain people didn't vote for Harris, and now they're getting what they deserve. And that is a very resentful stance to take politically. Because think about it. People are still getting hurt under the guise of American power, under the look of American power. I don't know, it just speaks to a fundamental American racism that you're not caring what we do overseas because that's people over there, and the only thing that matters is what's here with the economy, in my house, at my job, in my rules. We're seeing a sort of surrender with stuff like the abundance agenda and this whole bankrolling of looking for the Joe Rogan of the left. Instead of these structures listening to what the population actually wants and what the population's actually pulled on and what could be popularly supported by the people, there's just a resentment party right now telling us we need to be nice to the dude who was trying to take down Medicare. Talking about Joe Biden here, he said it himself, we defeated Medicare. I don't know, I just feel like there is a power, a party that has, some power, and it's spent all its time with that power telling us we're stupid and delusional for not believing the old man who could barely babble anything was in control of everything. Americans are Protestant even when they're not religious because of this resentment and shame mechanic in our culture, in which we have to only imagine who we can punch down on, who we can blame. Not really a pragmatic political vision for the future, if you ask me. Yeah, how strange indeed. Alright, let me get back to where we are, because I closed the book for a moment. There's some logic. Where was the resentment chapter I was reading? Here we go. I'm back to where I am. It is therefore hard to understand why Schiller completely identifies the spirit of rebellion with resentment. His criticism of the resentment to be found in humanitarianism, which he treats as a non-Christian form of love for mankind, could perhaps be applied to certain indeterminate forms of humanitarian idealism, or to techniques of terror. But it rings false in relation to man's rebellion against his condition. The movement that enlists the individual in the defense of a dignity common to all men. Schiller wants to demonstrate that the humanitarian feelings are always accompanied by a hatred of the world. Humanity is loved in general in order to avoid having to love anybody in particular.
This is correct in some cases, and it is easier to understand Scheller when we realize that for him, humanitarianism is represented by Bentham and Rousseau. But man's love for man can be born of other things than a mathematical calculation of the resultant rewards or theoretical confidence of human nature. In face of the utilitarians and of Emil's preceptor, there is, for example, the kind of logic embodied by Dostoevsky in Ivan Karamazov, which progresses from an act of rebellion to metaphysical insurrection. This is kind of getting into what The Fall is about in a reverse way. The Fall is about a man losing his sense of judgment, losing his sense of self, realizing he's not being true to himself. We're about to talk about the brothers Karamazov for a little bit, so spoilers for that book if you plan on reading Dostoevsky soon. Yeah, Gordy, I find it interesting to bring up the whole, like, yes, the European nations did all their shit too, but they recognize it in a way. Although, we do treat Hitler as uniquely evil when the rise of fascism and anti-Semitism was a sort of centuries-long, if not decades-long project of shuffling the Jewish people around Europe. Also, like King Leopold in the Congo and all that. Plenty of history leading up to that moment, but I think Europe has reconciled that in a lot healthier ways than the United States has. The United States, especially after World War II, this is something I think about a lot. After World War II, that's when international cinema really starts banging, and it's very interesting because you get like the French New Wave, you get the Italian neo-realists. The Germans before the wars had the Expressionists. Afterwards, they have a sort of dour realism to their stuff. But all these movements are reactions to, after World War II, Europe's like destroyed. Like cities have been bombed. They need to rebuild everything. And the camera and the movie as a sort of engine or a mode of cultural production was a way that the Europeans were able to look at themselves, make stories about themselves, and kind of rebuild. There's a sort of recognition in movies like Bicycle Thieves, which is Italian, or The 400 Blows, which is French. Two excellent movies I suggest checking out. The 400 Blows is a masterpiece of the French New Wave, François Truffaut. I'm getting away from it here. What I'm saying though is a lot of these movies were made to look at the material conditions and the rebuilding going on, because these places, like, there was a war, these places were destroyed, they were bombed out, they were set on fire, people died, there were graves, there was genocides going on. I mean, the Holocaust had happened. How do you reconcile that? Night in Fog is the German documentary from the 50s or 60s. Where they're just revisiting Auschwitz and kind of running the camera through the place, and there's a narrator talking about what happened there, and it's just a very sobering re-examination of what went on there exactly. But I'm saying Europe used movies as a way to get back on their feet after World War II while they were in the midst of doing all this rebuilding. America did participate in World War II, but America was the winner. And also America, like, yes, there was Pearl Harbor, but no one came over to America and set things on fire. America didn't have a physical loss in the same way the European countries did, where they had to actually look at the land and look at their cities and look at their political organizations. Americans came back home from the war and they had Hollywood. 50s and 60s Hollywood, dangerously boring sometimes. The spaghetti westerns were what we're coming around from Italy and Spain, and being more violent and fun and kind of like innovating things as far as what the kids were into. And yes, the new Hollywood eventually came around, but that was in the 70s. And what Coppola and Spielberg and Scorsese and them all were doing was riffing on like a lot of Italian and French techniques and bringing them to America. There's the reason that was happening in the 70s and not the 40s and 50s is because the Hollywood studio system was able to, just make a lot of post-war movies about the troops doing cool things and how cool being America was and how victorious America was and how bountiful like the American way was. And it was its own form of cultural imperialism, but it wasn't reconciling with loss in the same way a lot of those European nations were. even the Russians were kind of, the communists were giving Tarkovsky money to make movies because they saw the cultural importance of that kind of thing in a way the Americans weren't. It wasn't until Spielberg made Star Wars and you had the huge invention of Blockbuster that movies were, big, serious business. But that's also the thing, Star Wars shifted the direction movies were going, because Spielberg and Scorsese and Coppola and all were doing kind of like, still relatively realist things. Star Wars created the blockbuster engine. And from there, we just became completely detached from reality. That's why American movies are so blockbustery and so unrealistic and so testosterone-fueled escapist drives as compared to European ones and international ones. Because, America, fuck yeah. We went in there, we won World War II, everybody said thank you, and we've been making infinite money and selling everything ever since. We're never going to die. That is interesting, Arash. I'd be curious to look more into like the history of the Netherlands, or I need to look more into specific countries, because as you hear me talking here, as you can hear, I have a very broad strokes kind of idea of what the war was doing. Also, honestly, a lot of my cultural history gateways to other countries are through their movies. I'll watch a few films and then I'll realize they're referencing books from the culture. I'll look up those books and go down the wiki rabbit hole. But it's not like I'm not reading first-hand history. I'm thinking there's an Italian movie called The Leopard that's really good. Visconti. Luchino Visconti, I believe is the full name. He did movies called, he's an Italian filmmaker. He's one of the ones I'm talking about as far as, movies being used post-World War II for nations to figure out what they're doing. He did a movie called The Leopard, and The Leopard is about Italy's transition from monarchy into a republic. It's a big 3-hour, 4-hour epic movie. It's got Burt Lancaster, it's got Alain Delon, it's got Claudia Cardinale, it's got some of the sexiest people doing the coolest, most dramatic period piece stuff. Even the way it handles the transition from monarchy to republic, it's very humanist and very, very well stated. It's not a, it's not a bloody revolt movie or like an American action movie that might make the premise into like a very Hollywood blockbuster type of thing. It's a very novelistic movie, and when I finished watching it, lo and behold, apparently it's based on an Italian novel, and it's considered like a cornerstone of Italian literature, the novel. But stuff like that's kind of how I get into that history. But there's some American movies you can do that with. I was about to say, like, you can watch some westerns, you can watch some contemporary historical, like, this happened stuff. We have Lincoln, but like it's all very hagiographic in a way that what I'm talking about with Italian neorealism, French New Wave, etc. isn't. Like it's more, those movies were about showing what conditions were on the ground, how things really were. Alright, let's get back to Camus. Oh yeah, we're going to be talking about the brothers Karamazov. Schuller is aware of this and sums up the concept in the following manner. There's not enough love in the world to squander it on anything but human beings. Even if this proposition were true, the appalling despair that it implies would merit anything but contempt. In fact, it misunderstands the tortured character of Karamazov's rebellion. Ivan's drama, on the contrary, arises from the fact that there is too much love without an object. This love finding no outlet and God being denied, it is often then decided to lavish it on human beings as a generous act of complicity. Nevertheless, in the act of rebellion as we have envisioned up to now, an abstract ideal is not chosen through lack of feeling and in pursuit of a sterile demand. We insist that the part of a man which cannot be reduced to mere ideas should be taken into consideration, the passionate side of his nature that serves no other purpose than to be part of the act of living. Does this imply that no rebellion is motivated by resentment? No, and we know it only too well in this age of malice. But we must consider the idea of rebellion in its widest sense of pain, in the widest sense of pain in betraying it. And in its widest sense of rebellion goes far beyond resentment. And in its widest sense, rebellion goes far beyond resentment. When Heathcliff in Wuthering Heights says that he puts his love above God and would willingly go to hell in order to be reunited with the woman he loves, he is prompted not only by youth and humiliation, but by the consuming experience of a whole lifetime. The same emotion causes Eckhart, in a surprising fit of heresy, to say that he prefers hell with Jesus to heaven without him. This is the very essence of love. Contrary to Scheller, it would therefore be impossible to overemphasize the passionate affirmation that underlies the act of rebellion and distinguishes it from resentment. Rebellion, though apparently negative, since it creates nothing, is profoundly positive in that it reveals the part of man which he must always defend. Rebellion, though apparently negative, since it creates nothing, is profoundly positive in that it reveals the part of a man which must always be defended. Everybody's been quote unquote at their limit at some point. And when you're at your limit, yes, you're mad, yes, you're angry, yes, you're feeling a mounting sense of just frustration and despair, but you're also recognizing an affirmation that you want to live and you want to appreciate yourself and you deserve more. You deserve to not be here. It forces you to act. It is an act of love. But, to sum up, are not rebellion and the values that it implies relative? Reasons for rebellion do seem to change. In fact, with periods and civilizations, it is obvious that a Hindu pariah, an Inca warrior, a primitive native of Central Africa, and a member of one of the first Christian communities had not all the same ideas about rebellion. We can even assert, with considerable assurance, that the idea of rebellion has no meaning in these particular cases. However, a Greek slave, a serf, a condottiere of the Renaissance, a Parisian bourgeois during the Regency, a Russian intellectual at the beginning of the 20th century, and a contemporary worker would undoubtedly agree that rebellion is legitimate, even if they differed about the reasons for it. In other words, the problem of rebellion seems to assume a precise meaning only within the confines of Western thought. It is possible to be even more explicit by remarking, like Scheller, that the spirit of rebellion finds few means of expression in societies where inequalities are very great, the Hindu caste system, or again in those where there is absolute equality, certain primitive societies. The spirit of rebellion can exist only in a society where a theoretical equality conceals great factual inequalities. The problem of rebellion, therefore, has no meaning except within our own Western society. One might be tempted to affirm that it is relative to the development of individualism if the preceding remarks had not put us on guard against this conclusion. On the basis of the evidence, the only conclusion that can be drawn from Scheller's remark is that, thanks to the theory of political freedom, there is, in the very heart of our society, an increasing awareness in man of the idea of man and, thanks to the application of this theory of freedom, a corresponding dissatisfaction. Actual freedom has not increased in proportion to man's awareness of it. We can only deduce from this observation that rebellion is the act of an educated man who is aware of his own rights. But there is nothing which justifies us in saying that there is only a question of individual rights. Because of the sense of solidarity we have already pointed out, it would rather seem that what is at stake is humanity's gradually increasing self-awareness as it pursues its course. Let me read that again. Because of the sense of solidarity we've already pointed out, it would rather seem that what is at stake is humanity's gradually increasing self-awareness as it pursues its course. When you rebel, and when you're advocating for something, you're advocating for a position not just for yourself, but for the betterment of everybody. I mean, I want politics to work. I want things to be better because then the school system's better, then kids can be smarter, then our economy's better, then everything's just generally more comfortable for all of us, then we're like less angry, we're less mad, we're less at each other's throats. The roads are nicer because people aren't all frustrated or driving with like 2 hours of sleep because they're working 5 jobs. It's just ridiculous. It's cluttered. It's exhausting. We're literally grinding ourselves to death and pressuring ourselves through this stuff. It's not just that I think that's disgusting or uncomfortable or something I don't want to see on a personal level, but wouldn't it be more beneficial to just not be wasting through people like that, just in general? It brings to question, literally, like, what are we doing to each other?
To what end? To what end?
Who does this serve?
Right? The same thing with politicians. Like, why do we have politicians if they do nothing for us? What do we do with these?
In fact, for the Inca and the pariah, the problem never arises, because for them it had been solved by a tradition, even before they had time to raise it. The answer being that tradition is sacred. If in a world where things are held sacred, the problem of rebellion does not arise, it is because no real problems are to be found in such a world, all the answers having been given simultaneously. Metaphysic is replaced by myth. Yeah, so, you know, when you believe in the human spirit, like when you're rebelling, and we talk about, you know, cringe and sincerity and earnesty a lot here. I mean, again, if you're giving Kingdom Hearts statements about how you're fighting for the soul of the country on a podium while you're running for president, you damn well better mean that. Because if you're just lying, isn't that just the most cynical lie you can tell? Like, you're fighting for the soul of the country you don't believe in just so that you can, I don't know, make the meter move on some polls.
Yeah, line go up.
So yeah, that's metaphysic is replaced by myth. If there was earnest and sincere conviction behind these agreements, and you know, it all wasn't constant counter espionage and subterfuge and trying to like deal with each other and like, hey, how much money can I screw my workers out of if we just keep negotiating this deal and we just keep negotiating this deal? You know, there's no soul there. I do wonder what the average person does think the point of a politician is too, Elman, especially because, so I brought up earlier the whole bitter liberal resentful that Harris didn't win, congratulating you know, Gazans and getting bombed, Trump Tower Gaza type stuff, that whole resentment sphere. And the thing is, undergirding their whole argument is that the American people are just too stupid and deserve what happens to them because they didn't vote for Kamala Harris. And to that, I wonder, like, isn't a politician supposed to win votes and, like, gain the confidence of the audience they want to vote for them? Aren't they supposed to work for that by delivering tangible goods and practical policy?
They're just supposed to spank us.
Yeah, who said that these people are the ones we answer to without question and that we have to toe the party line to them when they're doing nothing with the party?
Yeah.
You know? And it brings the question, like, what genuinely do people think we're supposed to do with politicians? Like,
Yeah.
is Kamala Harris supposed to just, like, sit in that position and wait until it's her turn? Because that's, you know, Clinton was doing that.
Yeah, it's just, it's musical chairs. But with more money than God.
Yeah.
I can't find it.
Yeah, exactly, Rash. When people say politics is complicated, I don't remember the exact story today, but the Republicans are doing something in Congress, and the parliamentarian told them they couldn't do that, and they did it anyways. And now the parliamentarian's gonna like do some court stuff. There's gonna be some technical shit going on with it. But I mean,
the whole game.
The act happened. It happened. Like,
yeah.
They could do it. They went beyond. They broke the boundary, and it's going.
Yep.
During the Biden admin, if the parliamentarian said something couldn't happen, it couldn't happen, and that meant, you know, we weren't going to get a minimum wage raise, we weren't going to get any kind of health care or housing reform done.
But the rules don't say we can't have a
Everything's just constantly like too unpopular to be done. The rules just have to be respected, even though my opponent isn't respecting the rules. I just have to keep playing this game. Like, again, I don't think they're lying to us. I just think after a certain point, a class of people, they don't know what it's like on the ground. They truly don't know who's getting hurt or what's getting lost by them acting this way. They just, you know, consult their charts and their consultants and think, oh, Joe Rogan's popular, we need to be doing that.
We need left-wing Joe Rogan is what we need, you see.
Metaphysic is replaced by myth. There are no more questions, only eternal answers and commentaries, which may be metaphysical. But before man accepts the sacred world, and in order that he should be able to accept it, or before he escapes from it, and in order that he should be able to escape from it, there is always a period of soul-searching and rebellion. The rebel is a man who is on the point of accepting or rejecting the sacred and determined on laying claim to the human situation in which all the answers are human. In other words, formulated in reasonable terms. From this moment, every question, every word is an act of rebellion, while the sacred world While in the sacred world, every word is an act of grace. It would be possible to demonstrate in this manner that only two possible worlds can exist for the human mind: the sacred, or so to speak in Christian terms, the world of grace, and the world of rebellion. The disappearance of one is equivalent to the appearance of the other, despite the fact that this appearance can take place in a disconcerting form. There, again, we rediscover the all or nothing. The present interest of the problem of rebellion only springs from the fact that nowadays whole societies have wanted to discard the sacred. We live in an unsacrosanct moment in history. We live in an unsacrosanct moment in history. We live in an unsacrosanct moment in history. This essay was written, let me look up exactly when it came out.
They're asking if you could read just a little slower.
1956 this came out, and yeah, I'll slow down a little.
1956.
Sacrosanct. Oh, sorry, I'll slow down. So, the disappearance of the sacred. We have the rebellion. Why do we rebel? Well, we rebel because things don't look as they should be. The bargain's not being upheld. The sacred has been banished. The sincere adherence to word is gone. This ties into some esoterica stuff I've been talking about with Lux when we play Shin Megami Tensei. Just the word as God, Tetragrammaton, the Big Bang, all that fun stuff. But I'll get back to the Camus so I don't stray too much into some other ramble. But he's talking about the disappearance of the sacred leading to the appearance of rebellion. When things aren't in order, we have to make them in order. When things aren't reasonable, we say no more. Let's make them reasonable. All or nothing. The present interest of the problem of rebellion only springs from the fact that nowadays whole societies have wanted to discard the sacred. We live in an unsacrosanct moment in history. Insurrection is certainly not the sum total of human experience, but history today, with all its storm and strife, compels us to say that rebellion is one of the essential dimensions of man. It is our historic reality. Unless we choose to ignore reality, we must find our values in it. Is it possible to find a rule of conduct outside the realm of religion and its absolute values? That is the question raised by rebellion. Yeah, how do you enforce the sacred if, religion's too silly or we're too atheist in general or too secular? And I don't mean in a explicit everybody stopped going to church way. I mean this in the Nietzschean God is dead way, where conceptually, religion as a motivator or as a structuring pillar of society is no longer effective. We have already noted the confused values that are called into play by incipient rebellion. Now we must inquire if these values are to be found again in contemporary forms of rebellious thought and action, and if they are, we must specify their content. But before going any farther, let us note that the basis of these values is rebellion. Man's solidarity is founded upon rebellion, and rebellion, in its turn, can only find its justification in this solidarity. We have, then, the right to say that any rebellion which claims the right to deny or destroy this solidarity loses simultaneously its right to be called rebellion and becomes, in reality, an acquiescence in murder. In the same way, this solidarity, except insofar as religion is concerned, comes to life only on the level of rebellion. And so the real drama of revolutionary thought is announced. In order to exist, man must rebel. But rebellion must respect the limit it discovers in itself, a limit where minds meet and, in meeting, begin to exist. Rebellious thought, therefore, cannot dispense with memory. It is a perpetual state of tension. In studying its actions and its results, we shall have to say, each time, whether it remains faithful to its first noble promise, or if, through indolence or folly, it forgets its original purpose and plunges into a mire of tyranny or servitude. Meanwhile, we can sum up the initial progress that the spirit of rebellion provokes in a mind that is originally imbued with the absurdity and apparent sterility of the world. In Assorted's experience, suffering is individual. But from the moment when a movement of rebellion begins, suffering is seen as a collective experience. Therefore, the first progressive step for a mind overwhelmed by the strangeness of things is to realize that this feeling of strangeness is shared with all men, and that human reality, in its entirety, suffers from the distance which separates it from the rest of the universe. The malady experienced by a single man becomes a mass plague. In our daily trials, rebellion plays the same role as does the cogito in the realm of thought. It is the first piece of evidence. But this evidence lures the individual from his solitude. It founds its first value on the whole human race. I rebel, therefore we exist.